Hello everyone, I'm back with another video. I'm going to be doing a new series featuring a new tournament in the Go Format War League. This is a money tournament. Each player paid $55 to join the tournament. And this is round one. I have AJTBLS and Waite. It's going to be a Chaos Turbo Mirror. Let's just get right into it. I'm going to be reviewing from AJT's point of view. Okay. Carl opens with Thunder Dragon, sets a monster to back row, and flips the shoot. Sends back Spy, which is interesting because we can see that Carl has a Spy set, so you would think that he would send back something else so that when we use Nobleman, we have this dead Spy in our hand. But I don't see Carl's hand. Maybe he has a specific reason for doing this. Okay, our play is very obvious. We just use Nobleman. And then set the Dekoichi Dust Shoot. You can consider setting Snatch as well, which would play around set MST, also set Regeki Break. It would force 50-50. And also if Carl decided to go Dust Shoot before using Duo, setting Snatch would also play around that. I'm leaning towards setting Snatch being a good play, just because of those MST, 2 Regeki Breaks, and Duo. And in the case of Duo, our Dust Shoot is likely to get rid of their only monster, because he has 2 Thunder Dragons, so he wouldn't be able to summon a monster, attack the Deco, then use Duo main phase 2. At least most of the time. But let's see if AJT decides to set the Snatch or not. Okay, so I wouldn't do this, but I can. The reason he's doing this is because Carl used Dust Shoot and sent back Spy instead of Dekoichi in a spot where we had the knock. So AJT is thinking the only way he would do this is if he has Minecon in his hand. But I would still set Dekoichi. Probably. Okay, we flip the Dust Shoot. Let's take a peek. Okay. Only send back his Chaos Sorcerer. So he had Nobleman. Yeah, I don't think this was a good play from Carl. Yeah, I'm trying to think of why he would do that. Like he just wants to Nobleman the Dekoichi. I don't think that's worth it at all. Anyway, we send back Chaos Sorcerer. We get Nobleman. And Carl has Dust Shoot to Thunder Dragon. We draw Thunder Dragon. Play is very obvious that Dekoichi used Thunder Dragon. Okay. I know what he's thinking. It's just not good though. If you really care that much about playing around the Dust Shoot, you can set Snatch, but I would rather just force him to use the Dust Shoot next turn, and if we don't draw a monster, the Dust Shoot is bricked. Because think about how this is going to go next turn. Carl's going to set Dust Shoot. We're going to draw a card. We still have to use Thunder Dragon anyway, before flipping Dekoichi. We'll still have to like set Snatch Steal to just play around Dust Shoot forever. Yeah, I wouldn't do this. Okay, we can assume Carl probably set the dust shoot. So the play here is Thunder Dragon, get 2, and don't use priority. Try to bait Carl into using dust shoot. Carl does not fall for it. So now you have an interesting decision. Because if you go Dekoichi, draw a monster, Carl flips dust shoot, you lose the monster. What can you do instead? You can set ring. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set ring, flip to Koichi, hold priority. If I draw a monster, I'll just discard Thunder Dragon with priority. If I don't draw a monster, I won't. That's exactly what AJT does. Okay, you just pass priority here. He's gonna use this thinking to give an illusion that he's actually thinking about whether or not to use the Thunder Dragon to try and further incentivize Carl to use the dust shoot. Carl flips dust shoot before passing priority, it seems. Okay. Just gonna swing for 14 and set dust shoot. Gonna use dust shoot right here. Let's see. Okay, it's 2 Thunder Dragon, heavy knock. Just send a Thunder Dragon. Okay, we go swing for 14. Gonna keep Regeki Break in hand because there's Heavy Storm. Yeah, just pass. Carl draws a monster and sets it. Let's see, the graveyard, only spies are gone, so this could be everything. It could be Sangan, it could be could even be Magician of Fate, it could be the Koichis, Tsukiyomi, Serpent, Night Assailant. What does Thunder Dragon do? It would only get over Tsukiyomi. Never doing that because this Thunder Dragon is for the Regeki Break. So the only play is just attack with Koichi. We see Tsukiyomi. Now, what do? We know Heavy Knock Thunder Dragon. The play is just going to be Set Jar Greed and pass. Okay, so he decides he's going to set Regeki Break as well, so that when Carl uses Heavy, he's going to Regeki Break the Suk, but I wouldn't care about this personally. I would rather him Heavy these two, and I would chain Jog, let him tribute the Suk for Thunder Dragon, and then our hand is card we draw off Jog, Snatch, Regeki Break, plus our fresh draw. We already have the solution to Thunder Dragon with Snatch, so I would be very happy with that over this play. So Carl does use the Heavy, and Carl uses Regeki Break. Okay, so what does he have now? He just has Knock and a fresh card. AJT is thinking about whether to use Ring or not. And I think you do. I think you do use Ring. Because our life points don't matter that much. While Carl's would go down to 38. We have Snatch. And he's losing his monster here. Yeah, I think ring is worth it. Ooh, okay. This is just a big punish for our set Regeki break play, isn't it? If you think about how it would have went the other way, the hand would have still been Regeki break, Thunder Dragon, Sook, Snatch. And getting duoed with that wouldn't be so bad. Obviously, we're still favored to win because Carl's life is low. He only has knock in hand. All our chaos draws are good. But this is clearly worse than the other way. Draw Serpent. There's three options here. You could summon, attack for 300, you could set, bait the nobleman, or you can just keep it in hand. Does Carl have live chaos? He does. We have one Regeki break left. No tribe. We have Chaos Sorcerer. Does the 300 matter? If you summon this and then draw Chaos Sorcerer next turn, it would be game. Assuming Carl bricks. Do you just let him knock? We draw Koichi's Magician of Faith. Knight Assailant. Okay, I'm gonna set Serpent. That's, yeah, I think set Serpent. That's the play. But you could go anyway on this. Let's see what AJT chooses. He decides to keep it in hand, which is fine as well. Draw MST. Now what? Graveyard. If it's Faith. You could. If it's Faith, you could bait him into like getting the duo. Nah. I think it's just set MST pass. It's graceful. So you discarded Sangan Mirror Force. So what can the back row be? Something better than Mirror Force. So like Jar of Greed. Ring. I'm just gonna use MST. It's probably Jar. Oh, he set the knock. That's not a good play. Because he definitely doesn't have another knock because the other one's in grave. He was playing around like top deck duo, I guess. Nah, you can't do that. I guess we just have to set the Faith now. Obviously, he has to be worried about the set monster, which could be Knight Assailant or a Faith. I think you just have to go for it though with Faith. But let's see what he does. He does go for it. Carl just attacks. When he just attacks, obviously we can see what this set monster is. But what does it look like? Because I personally would never put this set monster to be a tribe. Actually, hold on. Yeah, I guess he's playing around. I would have to see Carl's hand. Anyway, we have to just take Snatch, I think. Yep. Carl sets a monster. See, this is weird now. Because what do you think the first set is? It's not Knight Assailant. That would have flipped, right? Faith would have flipped. Serpent? Serpent would not have flipped. That's... So if I decide to play this logically, this set on the left can only be Serpent, even though we see that it's a 1600 monster. So I would use Nobleman on the new set, because that could be the Magician of Faith, and then I would set Serpent. Force Carl to try and get aggressive over the Serpent, and then you can Snatch at some point after. I wouldn't want to Snatch the Deco and attack into Serpent. And I also wouldn't want to summon Serpent to attack Serpent. Okay, so he does go for the attack. Okay, actually, once you Nobleman the Serpent, this set can no longer be Serpent, which is the only thing that it could have been logically. So now it's still so hard to put it to reasonably think that this is a tribe. But what else can it be? Like a tribe breaker. Yeah, this is a good play from AJT. Upstart. Carl finds the sorcerer. We draw Faith. Only play is to set Faith. Okay, this happens. You just have to get Snatch again. So we find Chaos Sorcerer. Now what? This actually sucks because the way this plays out, you could have gotten Nobleman for this Faith and top deck the Chaos Sorcerer, but let's see here. So Carl knows about Snatch, that's one thing. I think I'm gonna go Snatch Chaos Sorcerer, attack the Decoichi, try and bait Carl's Faith to get Heavy Storm, and then we have Sorcerer for the follow-up next turn. If you... yeah, you can't summon everything. I guess you could go Snatch, Chaos Sorcerer, attack the set monster to force Carl into a decision now between Heavy and Charity. if he takes heavy, you just go M2 Sorcerer on the Snatch Chaos Sorcerer. If he takes Charity, you just sit on the Sorcerer, set Serpent. I think that's the play, yeah. Rather than hitting over to Koichi. Let's see if he does that. He does not, he just hits over that. So regardless, Carl still takes Charity. But, you see, Carl could have seen his draw for turn. And maybe it was something that was good versus Chaos Sorcerer. If we attacked into the Faith last turn, he wouldn't have been able to see that card. So may have felt a little more pressure to find the Snatch answer. But very likely would have still taken Charity no matter what. So Carl discards Ring and Ryeki Break, and then summons Sorcerer. Sets a back row and a monster. So what is the back row when he discards Ring and Ryeki Break? Everything's gone. It can't be another Ryeki Break. Ring gone, Mirror Force gone. So it's Jar of Greed or MST. And MST doesn't really make sense. I think these would be better than MST. I'm not sure here actually, because I feel like Ring is better than Jar of Greed. But okay. Draw Duo. That is actually interesting. Because now you have an answer to Set Faith. Let's see what else the set monster could potentially be. There could be Night Assailant. No, it can't be Night Assailant because that would have been discarded by Charity. So it's Faith. Is there more Dekoichis? There's one more Dekoichi potentially. So Faith Dekoichi. So the play here is flip the Serpent, attack into the set monster, use Duo, Chaos Sorcerer, banish Chaos Sorcerer. It's the only play. Exactly what he does. Okay. Imagine this is just the Jar of Greed from Carl. Okay, finds the BLS. Hits over both. Draws Solemn. Just scoops. Okay. On to game 2 going first. So I think that game, let me think about the game 1. I think the game would have changed, probably turned into a win if you didn't set the Ryeki Break into the Heavy Storm. Probably. It's not for sure, but. Okay, so what to set here? You can do Night Assailant or Spy. Not setting Kaiku, not setting Suk, not summoning Kaiku. Let's see. If Spy is mind controlled, Carl gets a Spy, which Kaiku can't get over, which would be really bad for us. Because we can't get over that Spy at all with our entire hand. So I think the play is very clearly Night Assailant and Dust Shoot. He goes for the Spy anyway. is the second best play, but it's also like never bad either. Goes for dust shoot. Okay. So regardless of whether we put back Spy or Deco, he's still going to have a good set. And he also has Faith with Upstart. So I think the play is just going to be clearly the Serpent, which is going to break off his Regeki break temporarily. Just look at how good the Night Assailant would have been. Because you could go Night Assailant and then like have the Sook with it. I think it's gonna have to be Serpent. Okay, so AJT is thinking I'm gonna send Spy because I can run over all these little guys with Spy and everything, but I don't know how I feel about it because Carl can just set to Koichi. He can also just use Regeki Break if he feels like it. And if he does use that Regeki Break, we're in a really bad spot. Like, you have to summon Kaiku to attack the Koichi, which is not great. And he's also getting a draw from Upstart that we don't know. I personally wouldn't bank on Carl just never using Regeki Break or not drawing a knock of the Upstart. Anyway. So Carl finds Thunder Dragon. Sets monster and back row. Does he decide to go for the break? He does not. Okay. So we know it's break guaranteed because he drew Thunder Dragon. So you're just going attack mode on everything here. And just going to attack because I want to set a flip in main phase 2. Okay, so now you have to decide between Koichi, Night Assailant, never summoning Sook. So let's think about what we know. We know 2 Thunder Dragon, Serpent, the set Regeki Break, and a Magician of Faith. I think I just go to Koichi. He decides to go for the Knight, which is like also good. It destroys the Faith that is set, or if Carl top decks a Spy. But I feel like there's going to be a good chance that Carl would Regeki Break this. Okay, so he finds Mind Control for the set, destroys a Spy, passes. So this turned out very well for AJT setting the Knight because Carl found Mind Control. Okay, so now you can go Sook on Night Assailant to bait Regeki Break on Night Assailant. The question is that what you want? I don't think it is. What's the alternate play though? The alternate play is just swinging with Spy, putting Night Assailant to defense, setting to Koichi Jar, and then still having the Sook for one of these or the Koichi when they aren't answered. Do you care much about the Faith? What would Faith get? I feel like Faith would have to get Upstart. Yeah, I'm just going to do the attack play, personally. But AJT goes for the Sook play. I think both plays have their pros and cons and are both pretty fine. So he discards the Serpent, so now we know it's Faith for sure. Tagging into Mirror Force would be pretty bad here. How much do you care about 1200? I'm probably putting Spy to defense here. Just because of Mirror Force, but not only Mirror Force, because of stuff like Breaker that Carl can draw and just attack over. I don't know what Carl is doing with Kaiku's post side. There could even just be I don't know, BLS hitting for 4800 or something that I don't really want to happen. I would go defense. That's what my instinct says. Let's see what AJT does. Okay, so he agrees. Set Jar Greed and pass. Take Serp. Uses Upstart. So it goes for Tribe. He's gonna ditch Serpent. Okay. Just gonna start here with Jar Greed. Draw a ring. There's two options here. I guess there's three options. You could go Kaiku, just attack. Whatever the back row is will be forced. If it's ever not a real back row, then this is your one chance to take out the Serpent. You could go Sook to bait back row and then still have the Kaiku for later. And you can also go to Koichi, set some traps, protect it, and then go Sook. But I think that's not as good. I would prefer one of the attack mode options. It's probably just Kaiku. Yeah, it's just too good if it works. And if it doesn't work, whatever, you made him burn Mirror Force. So it does go through. The hand is 2 Thunder Dragons, and you know back row didn't do anything. So back row is a bluff or Jar Greed. Could be Heavy Storm even, so I probably would not set both of these. Which one's the better one to set? I think it has to be Regeki Break. So Carl flips Jar. Carl definitely should have used this last turn. Especially since he made a very committing play like Tribe, which I would not want to make without having full knowledge. So Carl sets a monster in the back row. Do we want to do anything in end phase with Regeki Break? No. definitely not. Okay, so getting dust shooted here is actually very good. Do you want to chain Regeki Break to discard the knight? First, you have to think about what Carl would send back. We still have our 2 Regeki Breaks, so Carl could be reading our back row as Regeki Break. But there's still 2 Thunder Dragons anyway. It doesn't really matter that much, this decision, but it could. I feel like you just do it. And then you get to decide on your Knight Assailant pickup after Carl decides what he sends back with Dust Shoot, which is good. Let's see if AJT decides to do this. Yeah, I like that AJT did give this a big thought, even though it's a very minor optimization. Carl just scooped. What's his hand? I guess so. He's gonna get Kaiku'd again. Still never scooping though, because you never know. You can draw Pot into Grace. There's no reason to scoop. There's no time in these games or anything. Oh, let me cover up the hand. I didn't look at it. Okay, so Carl opens Charity. Sends Knight Assailant heavy. So when you see this, you know there's no other flip. So what happened here was probably Carl had Knight Assailant with the Charity, and he fired it off, hoping to draw a flip, and he didn't find one. He found Thunder Dragon off Charity. Decides to summon Sengan and set a back row. Okay. So no Dust Shoot. That's actually kind of crazy here. Carl discards the heavy, and we have this hand that just can set everything. Yeah, that's actually very interesting, because usually heavy is not good in this matchup, but AJT happens to be having all these solemns here. So we just start off with Pot and hold priority. Even though there's never Dust Shoot, you still just have to hold priority, because there's no reason not to. Okay. Looks like there's still no Dust Shoot. So I have to think now. There's a few things you can do. You can summon Kaiku and just banish these things right away. Or force the back row. You can force the back row, then like set 1, 2, 3. You can even set more. You can almost set everything if you want to. Just in case of top deck duo. And the other option is Sengan. And how to play Sengan, you can either summon it in attack mode or you can set Sengan. Yeah, this turn is not obvious on what to do. If you summon attack, what do you want to search for? We obviously want Magician of Faith to get back Pot, but that's unlikely to work. in 2 turns when there's still 2 knock, 2 mind. So we probably would be taking Serpent off this. If you set Sangan and Carl has knock, is that horrible for you? It's not the end of the world horrible, but it's pretty bad. So I'm leaning towards summon Sangan. If you summon Sangan, you definitely do attack, because you don't want to solemn a Chaos Sorcerer. So I'm gonna. I think Sangan, attack, grab Serpent, set a bunch of stuff, and then have a hand where you have Mind Knock with Kaiku, and then Regeki Break with Serpent, and then Solemns to force the plays through. That's sounding the best in my head right now. Alright, let's see what AJT chooses. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. I should decide exactly what we're going to set here. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure that's what I want to do, though. Because then you're really pressured not to get Magician of Faith. But we do have 1, 2, 3 Faith answers. If you set 1, 2, 3, then you're still vulnerable to top deck Dust Shoot. If you set 1, 2, 3, I think we actually just set all 5. This was a mistake on AJ's part. He set all his real traps first and then thought about whether to set the spells. But I would have made that decision before setting anything. So I guess if you're looking out for that kind of thing, you can maybe get a read that these last 2 are not real. Breaker summoned, that's just going to be an easy Regeki Break. Carl on Serpent, 2 Thunder Dragon, and 3 cards. Sets a back row, passes. We have Tribe, take the Serp. So Kaiku is not looking that good right now. Like, you almost have to commit to protecting it with Solemn. But it's kind of risky. But what's the other option is the question. Summon Tribe, attack to maybe bait out Ring. And then if there's something like Sook, you're in a really terrible spot. I mean, you're in a terrible spot with both versus Sook anyway, I guess. I feel like this is just Kaiku attack. There are some situations where Carl just goes like Regeki Break, discard the Serp, and then you Solemn and banish it. Okay, this is what AJT chooses to do as well. Just take the 18. That's interesting. I hope these are not like Helljar Greeds again from Carl. Yep, he held the Jar Greed again. I am not a fan. Like, it doesn't do anything. We're never going to use MST on this card or anything. Breaker maybe once in a once in a while. So Carl decides to set 2 back rows and leaves the serpent in his hand. This implies he probably has Regeki break set. I'm not sure about that though. I obviously can't see all his cards. But I feel like you want to set Serp and then just be okay with using Regeki break, discarding Thunder Dragons. But I can't see all the cards, so our only play is just to attack. Okay, so Carl is definitely thinking that AJ might have a Solemn set, which is why he's discarding the Thunder Dragon instead of the Serpent. So now from AJ, do you use Solemn here? I think you have to. Yep, I think you have to. Let's see if he does. He does, and ooh, so these back rows are not real at all. If there was Mirror Force, I would have used Mirror Force instead of Regeki Break. So it's probably like another Jar of Greed, maybe the Bluff Dust Shoot. I'm not sure what the one all the way on the left is. And AJT is going to set Knock because he's feeling that maybe there's a Bluff Dust Shoot back there, and I agree with this. Ooh, so Carl finds Pot. So Carl showed last turn he doesn't really have anything going on, right? He also showed he doesn't have Ring set, because Ring would have been used. So you're less scared of scenarios where you go Solemn and then just get Ring to death. This is not an easy spot though. I lean towards doing it, but I can see going either way. Let's just see what AJT does. He decides to allow it. I think that's fine. Because like, if there's like a held Snatch there, like Snatch this and then summon Serpent, just win. Upstart. Okay, so they gain life. That's good. Alright, so now Carl finally decides to start setting stuff, and AJT has 2 knocks. Minecon. I think the play here is it's just use knock and then attack for 18, I believe. I don't think I want to add extra pressure with Spy. Yeah. It's also possible Carl has like Torrential. We don't know for sure if he is Torrentialist or not. Set the Spy. That looks good to me. There's the Nobleman from Carl. What is Carl now on? He's on 1 Thunder Dragon, Serpent, summons Sook. That's another tough Solemn spot. It's very likely that Carl will be bricked if you Solemn here. But what if he's not? And also, what's our backup plan if you do allow this? Are we okay with summoning Tribe, hit for 16? and then lose the tribe as well, and hope to draw a monster in the next 2 cards, or decide to solemnly souk. Solemnly souk would never be a thing because then you die to chaos. I mean, Carl's back row is definitely fake, right? I mean, it's possible there's still one more Yeki break. No, there's no way. He would have used Ryeki break after our first solemn that other turn. I'm gonna say solemn here. That's my final answer. Okay, so he decides to just allow it and then draw an answer. I mean, draw enough to kill Carl in 2 turns. Finds duo. I don't think you can use this duo because there's Thunder Dragon, Serp. You're just hoping duo hits souk. I guess another question is do you even summon tribe here? I actually don't think you summon tribe. And if you don't summon tribe, was this whole solemn actually good? No, you do have to summon tribe. I'm gonna say tribe, hit for 16. No, he decides to just let it go. Okay. Draw upstart. So this could be Dekoichi, it could be Faith, it can also be the Bluff Serpent. So I'm definitely going to use knock here. So the question is, how do you order everything? Are you using upstart at all? I think I start this with upstart because I do want to draw flips. Okay, he finds Faith. Next play is to use Nobleman. AJT does not have a Knight Assailant. I can't remember if we saw a Knight Assailant from him in game 1. So this might just be a Knight Assailant list deck. That was a second Knight Assailant from Carl. Still no reason to use duo, I think. Do you set Serpent here to try and bait knock mind again? Could set tribe as well, actually. Like, what can Carl summon to run over tribe? Breaker's gone. There's no summon spy. There's like summon Dekoichi, which would be really bad, but it's not guaranteed that Carl would actually make that play. Play might be set tribe here. It's set one of these. I don't think it's summon anything. It's just whether you want to bait the Faith or not. Let's just see what AJT decides here. He decides to go for the Serp, which is completely fine as well. So there is the other Nobleman and the duo. So that's actually really annoying because if you did set tribe, this duo would just hit Serp. Was our Serp known? It was known. So that's actually, Carl actually could have been holding duo all this time as well. Damn. That's another tough solemn spot. I feel like it's going to be really hard to win this game if you don't solemn here. Carl has Thunder Dragon, Serp, +2. No, Thunder Dragon Sook +2. Yeah, I think it's gonna actually be really hard to win if you don't Solemn versus that hand. So yeah, I'm just using Solemn here. Nope. So AJT is saying, hey, I'm just gonna draw BLS and win. Okay. Of course he draws BLS. That's actually crazy. I don't think he was in a good spot at all to win this game without drawing BLS. And yeah, he's just going to go for game here. He's going to use Duo, he's going to summon BLS, and he's going to use Mind Control. I guess you Mind Control first. Yeah, you Mind Control first. In case it's Magician of Fate. Could be Magician of Fate, so. Yeah. And yeah, they were just bluff shoots. Alright. That's the end of this video. AJT wins his first round 2-1. Definitely a lot of interesting spots in this match that could have gone either way. I agreed with some plays. He made some other interesting plays that were also good. Alright, see you in the next video.